Hi, thank you so much for joining me today. Let's get started. We're going to come down to our mats. And we can start off in a child's pose. We want to sit our hips down to our heels and gently start to walk our hands forward until our head comes down to the mat. Allow your forehead to kind of just soak onto the ground. If you're finding any difficulty with getting your head down a little bit, what you can do is rest on your forearms, or you can even maybe kick up the toes, and then that will give you a little bit more space to kind of rock forward. You can also have your knees together or apart. You can have your hands in front of you or behind you. Child's pose offers us so many different opportunities and poses, modifications to fit our body's needs. Start to take a breath in and out. Feel the full length of the breath. Nothing to do and nowhere to go but to breathe in deeply. Allow the body to just be one. No force, no tension. On the next exhale, allow all the stale air to leave your body. Navel touches the spine. Maybe even make the shh sound as it exits the body. And then on the next inhale, allow the breath to come in through the nostrils. And let it fill up the body as deeply as possible, going down to maybe the belly, if you can do that. And then on the next exhale, completely allow the breath to leave the body. Maybe even making that sound, allowing for the vibration to help you release. On the next exhale, start with the process again. All the stale air out of the body. And then on the inhale, nice deep belly breath in. And then exhale, And do this about 3 more times on your own. Breathing in and breathing out. We're going to continue to allow our body to just melt in child's pose. And then when you're ready, you can begin to walk the fingertips forward. So much so that the fingertips kind of pull away and the arms lift up off the mat. Gently come up to a tabletop position. Start to just rotate the head, or maybe turning it about 180 degrees or a 360-degree turn. Breathe in and breathe out. If you like, you can maybe even add the hips and start to rotate the hips around. To the left, then to the right. Slowly tuck the chin in. Allow the chin and the head to kind of point towards the mat. Bring the chin to the chest. And allow the hips to dip down, the back body dome shapes. And then on the next inhale, we're going to drop our head back. Allow the belly to come down towards the mat. Allow the hips to lift up now towards the ceiling. And then inhale, reverse. And this is our cat-cow. What we want to do is match the breath with the movement. Breathing in and out. And take about 4 of these on your own. Just to loosen up the body, loosen up the spine. And then come back to center. We're going to sit our hips back down, bring our forehead back down to the mat for another child's pose, but this time it's one breath, one movement. And the next inhale, come up, Bring the stability into the hands. Make sure that the shoulders are stacked on top of the wrist and that the elbows are stacked on top of the wrist. We're going to tuck the toes under. And we're going to start to just kind of gently lift up our knees, hovering our knees down. And as you do that, start to press back until you finally can straighten out the legs and you come into this triangle pose for downward facing dog. If you like, you can start to just walk the heels out, wiggling the tail left to right. Breathing in and breathing out. Inhaling and exhaling. First downward dog of the evening. Allow yourself to fully embrace it. Breathing and letting go at the same time. Slowly we're going to take our right foot and bring our right foot up towards the ceiling into a downward dog split. And if it's in your practice, you can peel open from the pelvis for a hip opener. Allow the left foot to support you. Your right leg is peeled open. Your left foot is grounded into the mat. The arms are still pressing into the mat as well, and it's like your mat is ripping in half. You feel it, you are fully supported. And take your knee and then bring it towards your nose. And then prop back up, pressing the foot back up, downward dog split. Peeling open from the pelvis. And then on the next exhale, bring the knee to the nose. Do this one more time. And then come back to center, knee to the nose. And then bring your right foot down to meet your left, coming back into your downward facing dog. Slowly we're going to take the left foot, we're going to lift it up into a downward dog split. And if it's part of our practice, we can peel open now on the left side. We're just kind of pivoting that pelvis. The left hip bone now is lifting up towards the ceiling. If you want to even kind of rotate your foot back and forth, you can. And then on the next exhale that you have, exhale and bring the knee to the nose. Back up we go. Peeling open from the pelvis. Exhale, knee to the nose. Inhale, peeling open from the pelvis. Exhale, knee to the nose. And then come back down. Bring both feet back down to your downward facing dog. On your next breath in, I want you to take your feet, walk or step towards the front of the mat. Let the head hang heavy. Let the arms hang heavy. Allow the arms to be like rag dolls. Shake the head, yes and no. Completely letting go. Slowly allow the hands to come behind the legs and start to press your chest towards the thighs. And this is a really great relaxation pose, but soften the knees a little bit more and you'll be able to feel more of the hamstrings loosen up for you so you can really embrace your forward fold. Slowly we're going to squeeze the core, come up into a half lift flat back, and we're just going to hold this for a moment. Now imagine that your hands are placed in a place that supports you. If you can get your elbows straight, that's great. But you don't want to put your hands on your knees. You want to have your back flat so that a teacup could sit on it. Your chest is parallel to the ground beneath you. Roll the shoulders away from the ears. Continue to press the head forward. Keep the knees soft. Keep the feet grounded. Slowly exhale, let go, feel the weight, fall down again into your body. You're kind of like a pancake. The top of your body is kind of pancake to the thighs. And then soften the knees and come up all the way into a mountain pose. Arms rise, reach up, lift up overhead. And then bring the hands to the sides. Relax. And just stay in your mountain pose for a moment. We're going to take 3 mountain poses, coming up into mountain pose, and then exhaling and forward folding. Allowing the head to hang heavy. And then on the inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Soften the knees, coming up. Mountain pose. Let's do it all the way. One breath, one movement. Hands come to the side. Start back up. Arms rise. Exhale. Forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms rise. Hands come down by the side on the exhale. Last one, make it your own. Really extending up, folding forward. Allowing the body to feel strength through each movement. And allowing the hands to rise up, lifting up. And then come back to settling the arms, mountain pose. And just breathe about 2 or 3 breaths. On your next inhale, we're going to take our arms, lift them up, reach them up overhead. I want you to take the palms, press them together, bring them to heart center. Gently start to sit low into a seat. You want to breathe in and breathe out. Allow the hands to be into the heart center. We start here in our chair pose, but if you like, you can take the hands, lift them up, reach them up overhead, roll the shoulders away from the ears, lift up out of the pelvic bowl a little bit more. Or if it's not for you, you can keep the hands to heart center, your choice. And we're just going to hold that for a few moments. Really lifting up out of the pelvic bowl, squeezing the core. Imagine that there's a block in between your legs. Nice, strong body. Then gently, arms rise, lift up, back into mountain pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms come up. Come into a seated position, come right into chair. If you want to keep your hands pressed together, that's great. Otherwise, you can keep your hands up, and that's great too. Sit a little bit lower. Make sure that your knees are not running over your toes. You want to be able to see your toes. 3, 2, 1. Arms rise. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms lift up. Reach up overhead. Hands come to heart center. Let's do it one more time. Arms lift. On the exhale, come right into chair pose. Maybe you can come even a little bit lower. Lift up your chest a little bit higher. Tuck in the tailbone just a little bit more. Imagine that block is in between the legs. And just breathe. Slowly, arms rise, reach up, lift up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. This time, keep your hands down on the ground. Walk or step both feet back and come into a upper push-up plank position. And we're just going to stay here for a few moments. But first, let's clean up our upper push-up plank. So you can lean your head forward and then shoot your heels back. Squeeze the belly. Imagine that the abs are wrapping around the back body. If it's too much to stay up, in a plank position, you can do a modified plank where you bring your knees to the ground, but continue to keep the principles with you. Your choice. Breathe in and breathe out, and you can just stay here. The other thing you can do is come and bring your forearms down to the mat. Keep your hands together and just hold your plank pose. We're going to stay here for 5 breaths. If you feel like you need to take a break, try to hold off, or otherwise come down and modify, bringing your knees down to the mat. And then we're not just going to come all the way down, we're going to come back up, and then we're going to push up into a child's pose. And maybe your feet and your heels sink a little bit lower down to the mat. Maybe you can stretch out your hamstrings just a little bit more. Make sure you're not crunching up your ears around with your shoulders. Relax and breathe. Inhale, right leg lifts. Swing it in between your hands in the front of the mat. Bring your left foot to meet your right. Forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, soften the knees, come up into mountain pose. Exhale, hands come by the side. We're going to do 2 more. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Take your right foot back and then your left. Upper push-up plank. This time you can come down and you can come through your heart center, lifting up into a upward dog. Take the gaze up, tuck the toes under, downward facing dog. Left foot lifts, and then we want to bring it in between our hands in the front of the mat. The right foot comes to meet the left. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms rise. Reaching up overhead, back bend if it's part of your practice. Hands come down by the sides. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, forward fold. Half lift, flat back. Forward fold. Take your left foot back and then your right. Slowly start to hover down, hugging the shoulders by the sides, and then come up into a up dog. Tuck the toes under, downward facing dog. Good. By now you should start to feel like your body is really opening up. Right leg lifts. Peel it open from the pelvis. Tuck it down so that the knee comes towards the nose. Bring the foot in between your hands in the front of the mat. I want you to keep your hands here. I want you to keep your left foot bumped up. So only your toes of your left foot are on the mat. The heel is completely bumped up. Breathe in and breathe out. Slowly, we're going to use our core to help us lift up and come into a crescent lunge position. Hands come to heart center. Now, here's an opportunity to make space. You can give yourself a larger spread by bringing your right foot a little bit more towards the front of the mat and leaving your left foot bumped up, but straightening it out, squeezing the core, squeezing the glutes, and squeezing the thigh. So you're basically lifting up out of your pelvic bowl. Hands are here in heart center. Breathe in and breathe out. Make sure you catch your balance. We're going to take our bodies now. We're going to take our hands. We're going to go up. We're going to look up and lift up. And then we're going to open up into warrior two. Right hand comes in front of us. Left hand comes behind us. You can open up your stance a little bit more. Slowly, we're going to start to lean forward. Sky flip the hand. And then start to take that hand up and back. Reverse warrior. And then our left hand can come behind us. If the bind is part of your practice, great. Otherwise, you can hold on to your clothes or you can just bring your left hand to your thigh. Breathe in and breathe out. And come back into warrior two. Roll the shoulders away from the ears and just sit a little bit lower. Breathe in and breathe out. And just hold it for a few moments. I know you may want to come out of this, but you want to be a strong warrior. Imagine that your fingertips are extended to each side of the room. And if they were swords, they'd be pointy. So if your hands are clenched together, unclench your hands. Straighten your hands out. You can sit a little bit lower into that lunge. Gently, we're going to come around. We're going to come back into crescent lunge, but our hands are overhead. And then we're going to take our weight and we're going to shift so that our left heel comes down to the mat. Our right foot is also on the mat, but it straightens out in the leg so that the weight is now distributed and our legs are in a triangle pose. Gently, we're going to pivot our body down, squeezing the core. We're going to start to lean down towards the thigh and then bring your hands to the ground. And this is a nice hamstring stretch. I'm going to pivot, making sure that the toes are pressed onto, the left toes are pressed onto the mat, the heel is up, and then we pivot open. Right hand extends up to the sky. Take the gaze up. Bring the right hand back down to the mat. And we're going to now take the right knee, allow the right knee to come back into a lunge position so that it's stacked on top of the right ankle. Bring our weight up using just our core. You can do it even if you're wobbly and bouncy and your balance is off. That's fine. That's how you learn how to balance. Keep that heel on the left foot bumped up. And gently what we're going to do is we're going to start to shift our weight forward. We're going to straighten out our right foot, and then we're going to come into a balancing position. You can keep your hands right here. Oops, I'm trying to look over to the computer. You can keep your hands right here to your heart, extending out your leg, strong body, and really press into your right foot. You want to come up through the leg. You want to feel the strength of the thigh. You want to squeeze the core. You want to trust yourself as you lean forward, keeping the balance on the foot. And then gently you're going to bring your left knee and you're going to start to bring it towards your nose. Then take it back, exhaling, continuing to keep the breath. Come back, knee to the nose, and then exhale. Back out we go. Again, propping up the body. One more time. Knee to the nose. Foot pops back out. We're going to come back down gently, coming back into a crescent lunge position. We're going to take our left elbow, and then we're going to twist our body towards the left side. Bring the left elbow to the outside of the right leg. Take the gaze up, look up. Now you're just doing a nice spinal twist. Breathe in and breathe out. I know your right leg is feeling the burn. That's okay. Breathe in and breathe out. Try to breathe through the sensation rather than the tension. Then come back to center. Arms lift up. And then hands come down by the sides. Pivot back open. Warrior two. Press your right leg straight. Soften the knee though. And then bring your right hand down to the mat. Take the gaze up, looking at the left hand towards the ceiling. Slowly bend once again. Come back to center. Bring your hands to heart center. We're going to come down, hands to the mat. Take the right foot back to meet the left. And then you're going to go through your flow, lowering down, coming up into a up dog. On the next exhale, downward facing dog. And just shake it out. Breathe in, breathe out. You're going to take the left foot, allow the left foot to lift. We're going to bring it in between our hands in the front of the mat. And then slowly, when you're ready, you can take your fingertips and start to come up, coming into that crescent lunge position. Hands to the heart center. Sit a little bit lower in your crescent lunge. Feel your breath from the crown of your head all the way down to the tip of your toes. And make sure that as you're in this position that you are completely activating the muscles in your leg body. If you can sit a little bit lower, go for it. Breathe in and breathe out. Slowly arms lift up, reach up overhead. Twist open into a warrior two position. Left hand comes in front of you, right hand comes behind you. Take the gaze, look over the right fingertips. Oh, sorry. Look over the left fingertips. Right hand's behind you. If you can, sit a little bit lower into that lunge, giving yourself a larger spread in that area. Again, imagine that you have like a ball or a block in between your thighs, so as you lift up, you can really feel the squeeze up. And this also starts from the ground and from the mat. So imagine that you're pressing into the outer rim of your right foot. Your left foot is sinking and is facing forward. This will help you get a little bit more lift. And breathe in and breathe out. Slowly, we're going to start to lean our body forward. Sky flip the palm. Lift that left hand up towards the sky. Right hand comes towards the thigh. If you want to go in for your bind, you can go in for your binds. And take your gaze and look up to the ceiling. Nice, peaceful warrior. Undo the hands. Beautiful. Come back into warrior two. And just pause here for a moment. Roll the shoulders away from the ears. Feel your biceps and your triceps activate. Breath by breath, moment by moment. We're going to come back to center. This time we're going to straighten out the left leg. And we're going to bring our hands down to the mat. You can keep the right heel bumped up. Or you can, if you're more comfortable and you feel more balanced, you can turn it to a 45-degree angle. And just feel the stretch in the hamstring on the left leg. We're going to take our right hand and we're going to lift it up towards the ceiling. Extending open. Legs are like triangles. Fingertips are not behind us, but they're right in line. So if we had a long line of energy, you could see that long line of energy from tip of the finger to tip of the finger. Soften the left knee, come back to center. Bring the arms up. Come back into crescent lunge. Hands come to heart center. Breathe in and breathe out. And when you're ready, start to lift off, bringing the weight forward towards the left foot. Now the left foot is going to straighten, but the knee is going to stay soft. Stretch out the right leg. Allow the thigh to become part of this practice on your right side. So imagine that you're lifting out away from your hip body. You're pressing a footprint on the back of the wall. There you go. And then this will help you get a little bit more lift. The upper body is a little bit more parallel to the ground beneath you. And the weight is completely supported in the balls of your left foot, right below the toes and right on the heel. On your next exhale, take the knee and bring it towards the nose. Exhale, press back out. Inhale, breathe in, gather your strength. Exhale, knee to the nose. Press back out. Last one. Then you're going to bring your foot back down to the mat. Come back into crescent. You're going to pivot your body so that you're looking over to your left side, so your right elbow. Okay? You're going to take it and place it on the outside of the left thigh. And you're going to just pivot your body around and take your gaze up towards the ceiling. Twisted side angle. Again, you're completely active. You can breathe more into the sensation and the tension. You can do it. Inhale, breathe in, come back to center. We're going to stretch out our leg one more time. Coming into triangle. Soften the knee, bring both hands down to the mat. Take the left foot back to meet the right. Come into a upper push-up plank and then go through your flow. And we'll meet together in downward facing dog. And as you can feel, maybe your downward dog is a little bit different from when we first started class. Just tidy it up a little bit and really feel the breath go through the body, through the spine, down into the hips, to the legs. And then exhale, ha. Breathe in and breathe out. Now after all that work, I'm definitely going to do some stuff that you're going to like. So take the right foot, lift it up, and then we're going to bring it down. But we're going to bring our knee now down towards the back of the right wrist, and then our foot is going to come across our body. And I'll move like this just so you can see me. We're coming into half pigeon. All right. So we have this part of our body, our leg is crossed over. Okay. Slowly, we're going to lower down. And now for half pigeon, for some people, is very different. It can be very strenuous. So take your time. You don't have to just dump your head on the ground. If you like, you can leave your arms together and just rest your head on your forearms. But if it's in your practice to bring your head all the way down to the ground, you can do that. Inhaling and exhaling and just really being here in the moment. Nothing to do and nowhere to go but to just feel the full length of your body. Try to keep your hips square with the mat. Breathe in and breathe out. Slowly we're going to start to come out of half pigeon. Start to walk our hands up, lifting our head up, taking the gaze up. I want you to just kind of roll your weight onto your right hip and then bring your left leg around. And so that it's laying on top of your right. We're in Hero's Meditation. Bring the arms up overhead. Interlace the thumbs so that your fingertips look like butterflies. And slowly start to lean the belly forward and allow your arms to come over the chin. The chin come over the knee and your rest of your body come over the knee. And just, if you can, rest your chin on the knee body. If you can rest the elbows and the arms, you can do that too, but just let it be natural. Allow gravity to take over. Hero's meditation is an opportunity to just really find peace or make peace with anything in the present moment. Slowly start to walk the hands up. Arms come overhead. Stretching out so that you get a little bit length in your spine. And as you undo your leg, kind of just be gentle. Come back, taking your time into a tabletop position. We're going to sit our hips down, bring our forehead down to the mat into a child's pose. Come back up. Tuck the toes under. Downward facing dog. Again, feel the downward dog. Don't just do the pose to get through it. Just try to really embrace each moment, whether it's pleasurable or It lacks pleasure. You're going to take your left foot and you're going to lift it up and you're going to peel open from the pelvis. Bring that left foot down. Take the left knee, bring it right behind the left wrist. The left foot is now touching towards the right side of the hip, or at least towards the right side of the mat. It's pointing. Find your comfort zone. Slowly start to lower down. Again, option. So if you want to rest your head on your forearms, you can do that, or you can come all the way down to the mat. And just allow your body to embrace this. And as I said, it can be different from day to day, or it can be tense. But just breathe through the sensation. As long as you're not feeling any pain. You should not be feeling any sharp pains or anything like that. You can always adjust. Try to keep your hips square with the mat beneath you. Let the head melt down as much as possible. Take about 3 or 4 more breaths. I'm going to gently start to bring our hands back onto the mat. We're going to start to walk our hands back until our belly, then our chest and our head rise up. Gaze is up. Take your right foot. You're going to bring it over and crossing over the left leg. And we're going to do heroes on the other side. Hands to heart center. Arms up overhead. Interlace the thumbs. Butterfly the fingertips. Start to lean forward, dropping the hands in front of the knees, dropping the chin to the top of the knee, relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the elbows. And just breathe. Slowly start to walk the hands back, lifting up the belly, the chest, and then the head. Arms come up so you get that extra length. Unwind your legs. Come back into a tabletop position. Tuck the toes under. Downward facing dog. Breathe in and breathe out. Lean the upper body forward. Upper push-up plank. And go through your flow. Feeling stronger through each chaturanga. Each up dog. Eyes and gaze towards the ceiling. And then bringing ourselves back into that downward facing dog. We're going to go through one more sun salutation and then we're going to come down completely to the mat. Right leg lifts. Come down, bring your right foot in between your hands in the front of the mat. Then your left. Half lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reaching up, mountain pose. Exhale, flow through it. Come all the way down. Forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Left leg goes back, right leg goes back. And this time in your plank pose, stay here for a moment. And we're just going to stay here and do a few push-ups. Slowly start to lower down, coming halfway. Stay where you are. And then press back up. Inhale and breathe in. On the next exhale, lower down and come about 2/3. Hover over the mat. And then press back up. On the next exhale, let go. Completely coming down, bringing your chest, your belly, your feet, your thighs. And then come down right ear to the mat. Relax and breathe. Bring the hands back up. Cobra pose. You want to just find a comfortable place for your arms. The thing about Cobra is try to bring your legs behind you so much so that the bottoms of the feet, the flat part, which is actually I should say the tops of the feet, which is the flat part on the top of the feet. Make sure that's really pressed into the ground. Lifting up on the chest, ground in through your hip body, lifting out of the pelvic bowl, lifting your heart. It's like you're pivoting your heart up. But the weight is completely supported on the arms, the forearms, and the hands. And your arms are not out wide, they're close to the sides of your body. And then gently bring your left ear down to the mat. And bring your hands behind you. Bring your hands back up. One more Cobra pose. Breathe in and breathe out. And now we do all of that. We're going to come back down to the mat. Hands come behind us. We're going to start to just lift up on the chest, squeezing the core, allowing the chest body to rise up, and then allow the legs to lift up as well. Only the thighs are kind of touching the mat. And coming into our Superman pose, hands are behind us. If you want to bring your hands in front of you, you're welcome to do that. Try to lift up, reach up. Go for what it is that your vision is right in front of you. See that you can grab it. Maybe go even a little bit more. And then on the exhale, let go. Bring your ear down to the mat. Breathe in and breathe out. Slowly we're going to press our hands. And we're going to come back up through our tabletop position. And we're going to come to sitting on our knees. Okay? So we're coming to sitting on our knees, and we're going to come into a camel pose. So we want to come up, lifting up. Now I have a long thigh. Body is lifted up. We're now standing on our knees. Bring your hands behind you. Okay, it's like you're putting your fingertips inside of your jeans, like your jean pocket, okay? Now you can stay just like this and work on just trying to get your elbows to kind of touch, lifting your body so that your hips start to come forward. Then you can stay just like this for camel, dropping your head back, taking the gaze up. But if you want to go in a little bit deeper, you can also bring your hands towards your thighs or bring your hands to your heels. Gaze is up. Do not turn your head to the left or the right. Just continue to press your hips forward. And breathe. Breath by breath. Moment by moment. Slowly bring your left hand to your back body and then your right so you can come out of camel. You're going to sit down and then kick your feet out in front of you. Beautiful. Soften the knees a little bit. I always think it's wise, even if you're super flexible, soften the knees. Arms reach up overhead. Slowly bring the belly towards the thighs. Drop the hands down. If you can reach for the toes, great. If not, just drop your hands over to the side. And as you start to press the chest down, bring the elbows down towards the knees until you find your sweet spot. Seated forward fold. 2 and 1. Gently Loosen the hands, come back up. We're gonna bend our knees, bring our hands together to our extended arms, palms are pressed. We're gonna lift up into boat pose. Squeeze the core, lift up out of the pelvic bowl. And then when you're ready, you can twist. Twist to the right, come back up to center, twist to the left, and I'll move this way so you can see me. Inhaling and exhaling. Do 4 on each side. If you find that it's difficult, you can bring your toes to the ground. But otherwise, keep your boat up. Some people that are more flexible might even have their legs all the way up. 2 more. 1 more. Now, we're not going to just bring our feet down. What we're going to do is we're going to start to hover, bringing our legs straight, then come back up, squeezing the core. Exhale, arms come out. Squeeze the core, come back up to center. 2 more. 1 more. Take the hands, wrap them around your knees, and gently rock back and forth. Just giving yourself a nice little spine massage. 1 more. And then gently lay the back body down, bring the head down to the mat. Take your hands, interlace your fingers around the feet body, press your knees out, come into butterfly pose. Breathe in and breathe out. 2 more breaths. 1 more. Undo the hands. Undo the interlaced fingertips, but keep your hands on the outside of your feet and just come into happy baby's pose. If you want to even hook your fingertips around your big toe, you can do that, or you can keep your hands to the outside, your choice. And just rock back and forth. Breathing in and out. And gently, we're going to bring the feet back down to the mat. Knees are still bent. And with our knees bent, we're going to bring our hands to the side. Maybe even bring your feet so that it's almost touching your sits bone body. And when you're ready, start to bring the weight up so that you're shifting your hips towards the wall behind you, coming into bridge pose. Now you can keep your hands right here on the mat for support, or you can interlace the fingers and bump up just a little bit more for your bridge. Breathing and exhaling, gaining a sense of strength and dignity through each moment that you hold the pose. And then gently, vertebrae by vertebrae, we honor our body as we bring our back down to the mat. I'm going to do it again, coming back up into bridge, make it your own. Hold it for about 3 to 4 breaths. Completely active from the toes to the crown of the head and the hands, the shoulders, the back body. 2 more. The last one. Beautiful. Last thing we're going to do is we're going to come into a shoulder stand and a plow. If you would like to do a different pose at this time, because neither one of them is in your practice, you're welcome to do that. Otherwise, we're going to take our feet, lift them up, tabletop the legs, and then gently we're going to squeeze our core and lift up, bringing our fingertips towards our back. And just like we did with camel, our fingertips are facing towards our pockets. Gently, we're going to bring back our feet, coming into plow. If you want to do dead's bug, you can do dead bug too. Or like I said, you don't have to do this at all if you don't want to. You're going to place your hands on your back body in a place that you feel secure. Bring your elbows a little bit closer together. Straighten out the legs behind you if you can. And then gently squeeze the core and come up into your your shoulder stand. Breathe in and breathe out. If you can come up a little bit higher, it's a practice. Do so. Otherwise, just stay where you are. Breath by breath, moment by moment. Slowly, we're going to start to bring our vertebrae down. Each vertebrae comes to the mat in its own time. Gently bring the feet down. Extend the legs out. Come into Savasana. Sky flip the hands. Close the eyes. And this is an opportunity to reflect on all the work that you did today. Take a moment to congratulate yourself on a job well done. You didn't have to come to yoga today, but you did, and for that I'm grateful. And we are grateful in this community. Relax your feet, your ankles. Allow your legs to fall apart from one another. Relax the thighs, the hips. Allow the sits bone and the back body to just melt into the mat. Loosen the belly, open the heart. Relax the shoulders all the way down to the hands. Relax the neck, opening up the voice box. Relax the tongue from the top of the mouth, the eyes, the mind. If you'd like to stay in Savasana longer, you can leave the session now. Otherwise, we will begin to close class together. I'm going to ring the singing bowl. As you hear the singing bowl, you can allow the vibrations to connect to your breath and connect to your body, wiggling the toes and opening the eyes at your own pace. You can roll over to your left or your right, gently placing yourself back in a position where you're seated, where you're sitting. Bring your hands to the heart center as we close class together. Thank you and namaste. Have a beautiful, blessed day. And take all part in this practice with you, knowing it's your choice. Thank you.